not lose my voice. I'm running as, does it work? Yeah. Maybe that'll save me a little bit. That better? Okay, I'm candidate for sheriff. I'm gonna be running as an independent this time. The reason I'm running as an independent, as everybody here knows, most of the time you don't have any Democrats running. I believe in a Republican policy. I stand behind the Republican. I'm conservative. I've always run Republican. But after the primary, whoever wins or loses, that's your sheriff. There's more people votes in the general election than they do the primary for whatever reason. I want to give people another chance. If maybe their candidate they wanted to get elected, that gives them another shot. That gives you two people to vote for. I think that's the way it should work instead of just having to accept whatever happens in the primary. That's the main reason I'm doing that. I was called out here tonight to go over some of the things. I'll cover my policies, what I'm wanting to do a little bit later. Made a list so I wouldn't forget everything that I was supposed to cover. Some of the things, enforcement of animal neglect, cruelty laws, I think the Sheriff's Department should enforce them. Can we enforce every one of them? No. I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you and swear them down we're going to enforce every rule on the book. We can't. But we can do the best job that we can do with it. We can do everything possible for it. Right now there's 4 people on the road, 4 officers. When I started in 1983, we had 4 officers on the road. It hasn't changed. They've got a group of 10 people. Their main job is to go out, excuse me, serve warrants. I'll bust that up, put 2 more to a shift. That way they can go out here and answer the call. They can cover everything that they need to. They can answer any call that they get. Enforcement of the dogs at large, as you know, Carter County don't have a leash law. State does though. State has a leash law that we can enforce. City's got a leash law, of course, they would cover theirs. Shooting and killing of dogs in the county. If anybody shoots or kills a dog, unless it's after their livestock or something, trying to hurt them or their child or relative, there won't be no killing unless we go try to serve a warrant. If we're trying to serve a warrant and they turn the dog loose on us to try to bite us, we don't like to, but we'll try to do whatever we can before we have to kill a dog. If somebody else shoots a dog, just be out here shooting it, as we do have some people think that's target practice, then they will be charged and they will be arrested and be dealt with according to the law. Working with animal control, as you know, the Sheriff's Department's already got a vehicle that they donated. I think they fully donated it to the animal control. I think they still have that. If they do, that's fine. They should have a vehicle. They should be able to, we can help them any way we can. We've got a tight budget that they've got to work with, so we will have to stay within that budget to make sure it's covered. All officers will be instructed to respond to animal neglect and cruelty. We will. Training of your staff, dispatch, and handling the calls. We can go on calls, but we can't transport. We have no way other than the truck that we were just talking about to transport a dog. If you got a vicious animal, you can't very well put it in the back of the cruiser. One, we're not trained to do that. We don't know how to get it in the back without having to hurt it or get ourselves hurt. So that's something that we will have to work with animal control, and that's something that I would be willing to do. I want to work with animal control to try to help them out. They need, just like all the other counties, we need to work together. As far as training of the staff, what I would do instead of having, you can't send every person at the Sheriff's Department, all the road officers, you can't send them to a school to learn about the correct laws, correct rules, regulations that meet animal control. That's just not practical. But what we can do is send a sergeant and a lieutenant, which is the supervisors. They can go to it. If an officer gets there and he runs into a situation he's not sure about, he can call his supervisor. His supervisor, who has been trained, can advise him of the right procedure to go with. That way nobody gets in trouble. Because when you start messing with people, with the animals, you know yourself, you're going to get in some trouble. And it can happen very quickly. Local animal ordinances, we don't really have anything to do with that. The training of the dispatchers, we don't really have much to do with that either. That falls back to the commissioners. The dispatchers, that's up to their supervisors and their shifts to train them on how to dispatch it out. I know from experience a lot of times they don't get called correctly when they dispatch it out. You may not be knowing what you're going on. It may sound simple on the radio, and when you get there it's 10 times worse. Sometimes it develops real quick. You don't have time to get back on the radio and ask, holler for help, say you need this, you need that. I can tell you from example, it happens quick. Sometimes you don't have that luxury. It's not like on TV. What I want to do with the sheriff's department is I want to try to get the other people back on the road, make sure that they can answer all the calls, not just animal calls, but any calls that people get. I know right now they're kind of, I don't want to say lack off because they're not, but they don't take every call coming and going. I think they should. You know, if you go up, show up, if somebody has took the time to call you, that call's important to them. You should be able to go at least talk to them and then see what the problem is. Maybe you can help them, maybe you can't, but you don't know until you get there. I know one officer had a wreck. It wasn't an officer, it was a constable, which is an officer. Had a wreck. He called for somebody to come up and investigate it. After an hour of waiting, they said, well, we'll be there in about 45 minutes. Do you want to wait? Yeah, that's a little bit too long. Put more people on the road, you'll be able to cover that. You can get there a lot quicker. Other resources that you can call, if you got constables that are working and they have access to radio, they can help you work it. They can do stuff like that. So we use all the resources available, not just to the sheriff's department, but everywhere that we can get it from. We'll use that resource. We'll work with other counties. They may be having the same type of situation that you're having. Talk to them and see. I know you used to, that's what we done. We met with Washington County, Johnson City, Croy. We'd all meet, all the investigators would meet and talk about their cases. If it was something that maybe in Johnson City it's working good, they said, hey, we got this evidence. Well, maybe we've got the other pieces that will tie into it, tie it all together. Why not do that again? Use that. Work with these other counties. Work with the other agencies. The more you work with people, the better off you're going to be and the better the department's going to be, because it's not for just the officers, it's for every citizen out here. And that's who the sheriff's department should work for. If you've got a complaint, you should be able to call, be able to come down to the office, go in and talk to somebody about it. That's the way I was brought up in this business. Like I said, I've done it for 35 years. I know the way it should have been done. I've seen a lot of changes that's made that's good, and I've seen changes that was made that was bad. It's just something each department has to work with. Any questions?
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Croy, if elected, would you be utilizing the constables at a greater, well, more than they are now?
Oh, yeah. Right now, they have no radio service. I do training for the constables right now in Carter County. I do all their training. They're yearly 40 hours that they're required to get, just same as an officer. I would make that access available to them if they come to the sheriff's department even and get the training that the officers get. Constables are a little bit at a disadvantage because most of them work during the day. They can't come to a class during the day, so we put our class on at night for them. Do the same thing with the sheriff's department. Just have our training officers stay over and work, work a couple of night shifts to get their class hours in. Get it mandatory, their gun, they're safe. Put the radios back in the car so they can call for help if they need it. They're just like a regular officer. They can be utilized a lot better than what they are right now. Any other questions? Thank you.